I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
A busy town hall for Andrew Scheer with an unexpected question full of false information.
Trudeau gave $600 million to the Clinton Foundation. The Clinton Foundation is part of child trafficking and child sacrifice. If you study it, it's in the Pizzagate. And how do we get that money back?
Pizzagate, a conspiracy theory that accused former presidential candidate Hillary Clinton of running a child sex ring at this pizza shop. The fake story was widely debunked, and still, someone who believed the tale fired shots there.
Appreciate your concerns on this.
Last night, Andrew Scheer didn't challenge the man who asked the question.
You mentioned the Clinton Foundation. You mentioned there are other examples where Justin Trudeau's government has given grants to hire people for groups that are, advocating for their own particular ideology.
Today, Scheer says he didn't hear the word Pizzagate.
I heard the Clinton Foundation part. I heard some of the other points the gentleman was making, but that was not something that.
So you didn't hear the Pizzagate?
No.
It's like a porno version of the West Wing. Hey, Andrew, is this like got to be the strangest 2 days of your life?
Why are you asking Andrew any questions about this scandal?
Wait, are you the expert?
Does he like know stuff about it?
No, you're right. I didn't think of that.
Don't go away, Wienergate. Yes, it has been.
It has been.
And I haven't eaten all day. All I have is adrenaline coursing through my veins. It's the most surreal experience. You have no perspective when something like this happens of this epic level. I haven't looked at the internet to see the comment section. I haven't retweeted any vile hate against me.
Which is actually a relief.
Right. In 48 hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm jonesing for some hate.
Well, the interesting thing, it's hard to play ping pong when you don't have any opposition. Because normally the people that tweet you hate are not tweeting because they've been humiliated. I don't see anything.
Why did you change the subject to the sport of ping pong?
I don't know.
Yeah, you're weird that way.
I am.
Thank you, everyone, for your consideration. I highly, I hope that you enjoy the video and that you share this video and start asking questions pertaining to this if you think there are relevant questions to ask. So thank you, everyone. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian.
Of our children that are in care. That's ridiculous, and it needs to change, and the only way it will change is by listening to what the First Nations people want to do and how to keep our children safe and move toward a system that's going to be responsible and accountable.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Being advocating for child porn, or at least that's how it came across. However, there's a more in-depth explanation about the rhetoric that was led mainly by conservative MP Vic Taves. Here, this article says Vic Taves' child porn attack was aimed at Trudeau, or possibly aimed at Trudeau, or it's raising the question. And it talks about, down here, I highlight in the article, in a new ebook, Contender, the Justin Trudeau story by HuffPost Canada's Althea Raj, Trudeau's friend and campaign mastermind Gerald Butt suggested that Taves may have had Trudeau's one-time roommate Christopher Ingvaldson, who was charged with accessing and possessing images of child pornography in 2010, in mind when he made the argument.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
Which is why we've made historic investments in healthcare, in mental health. And again, the money is there in the budget framework, and I certainly hope that Manitoba decides to invest in those areas, because it's something that I've heard directly from Manitobans that are priorities to them. Oui, je suis très content.
Counterparts, you're scumbags, you're an absolute scumbag.
Included things that the government could change now. For instance, the differential age of consent when it comes to anal sex versus vaginal sex.
Yeah.
Is that something that the government?
Yeah, that's something that we're very much looking forward to moving on.
I'm well aware that there isn't justice for victims in Canada. It is the Disneyland for pedophiles.
Is that something that the government?
Yeah, that's something that we're very much looking forward to moving on in.
Is that something that the government?
Yeah, that's something that we're very much looking forward to moving on in. That's something that we're very much looking forward to move.
There isn't justice for victims in Canada. It is Disneyland for pedophiles. Evidence was overwhelming. The prosecutors failed to pursue the charges, or the judges sided with the pedophiles. Our nation, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. The judges sided with the pedophiles. Our nation, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. There isn't justice for victims in Canada. It is Disneyland for pedophiles. Canada, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. Our nation, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. Canada, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. Our nation, it is Disneyland for pedophiles. Canada, it is Disneyland for pedophiles.
Maybe it might be time.
And the charity he headed up, which he's received accolades for from numerous officials, is called Street Kids International. And I notice here, it says it's an operating charity, but that the charitable registration number says it was revoked December 15, 2016. And overlooking on the side here, donor grade A- seems all right, but then when you get down looking into some of these stats, their asset to liability ratio seems to be pretty not good. About 60% of their spending goes to programs, the rest goes to admin and fundraising. Here in 2011, their cents to the cause took a drop. So I'm not too familiar with the charity, but this was founded by Dalgish, and he used to go around the world in the name of this charity, supposedly advocating for kids, and it raises some very serious questions about what he's been doing all this time, because I doubt that these are isolated incidents where these men have been finally caught. And I went to the Street Kids International, or streetkids.org website, which I was kind of surprised by how underwhelming it is. And to be honest, it's got kind of a retro deep web feel to it, which creeps me out all the more. And then the first link that I hit on brought me to this error page here. Essentially, basically, they have some issue with their SSL certificate, which I won't get into, but it just raised my sketch alarm, to be quite honest. Now, another point here that I'm seeing where I'm starting to see a pattern emerge, and this is what I really want to drive home here.
I'm Cheryl Tasascu here in Winnipeg, where emotions were high tonight at Justin Trudeau's town hall meeting. Now, at previous events, the Prime Minister has received a rough reception over various controversial issues, and tonight was no different.
You can sit down and listen to this gentleman's question. Actually chat. Yes. No, ma'am.
Within only the first 10 minutes of the town hall, a woman began yelling at the Prime Minister about the Kinder Morgan pipeline.
This is an opportunity for...
Someone else was answering the question when the woman got upset. Trudeau said he would give her a mic next, but the woman kept raising her voice, so police ended up escorting her out of the building. Some other issues were brought up, including the national inquiry.
How will you measure in quantifiable terms whether the inquiry into the murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls is successful?
We need to believe, we need to believe the victims. We need to believe them. Once they come forward, we need to take their story very serious, and we need to act swiftly. And if we're really serious about women cause and the Me Too movements, I mean, now is the time to actually step up to the table and show.
Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
I need to know how you're going to protect future Canadians, like my young daughter, and 10, 15, 20 years from now, when you're letting people in with an ideology that just does not conform to what we're doing.
At this point that you realise Trudeau actually sees ISIS terrorists as refugees and wants to reintegrate them into society. Oh wait, he actually said that.
The Liberal Party believes terrorists should get to keep their Canadian citizenship.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
Maternal love is the love that's going to change the future of mankind. So we'd like you to look
we like to say people kind, not necessarily mankind, because it's more inclusive.
We continue to demonstrate to Canadians our commitment to openness and transparency, and we will keep delivering on that.
Honourable Member for Outremer.
There's a term for someone who commits to something in writing and then reneges on that commitment. It's called a con job, Mr. Speaker. When the Prime Minister got caught selling access to himself and his ministers in exchange for donations to his own political party, he decided to let the media attend rather than put an end to the sketchy practice. But last night he kicked the media out. So will there be any consequences for the Liberal Party after they broke the Prime Minister's rule on cash for access fundraisers?